Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. I am joined today by Mark, one of our awesome alumni. Mark has a Bachelor of Science, a Bachelor of Education, and came back for his MBA and graduated in 2019. Currently, Mark is a secondary school teacher, and I am so very excited to talk to him about how his MBA works with his current job. So hello, Mark. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi, thank you so much for joining us. Okay, so tell us about your undergraduate studies and maybe what led you to get an MBA.
I completed 2 degrees in Brock, graduating in 2000 and 2008. I got a combined major in Bachelor of Science in Math and Computer Science. I already had some work experience, but my undergrad is really what empowered me to get a job out of university directly into management with a local business. So after a couple years working in management and hiring staff with the same education as me, I wanted to get my master's, but had to figure out in what. I decided that a lot of master's programs might be more academic than applicable to the kind of work I was doing. So then I found out about the MBA, and I found out that it really had a lot of advantages for me. I was volunteering with local high school and some different boards, and I really wanted to get an idea of how the world worked with respect to business, because that's a major part of how everything works in the world. So
Really?
I wanted to be a better volunteer, a better voice on those boards that I was already a part of. And so that was one of the big things there. I also had my Bachelor of Education, and I was looking at how I might be able to get into administration one day. And so a Master of Business Administration seemed very applicable for that. So if I were to become a principal one day or something like that. Um, I also thought a little bit about maybe getting into politics one day. And the Master of Business Admin is a very respected degree, and so that was another major part of my decision. And to be honest, my dad probably would have been pretty excited about it. So, to make him proud, that was definitely a piece of the puzzle as well.
Yeah, I can absolutely understand that. I'm glad to hear that you are volunteering and that you were interested in an MBA to help you with your volunteering. That's something that I haven't heard from an alumni yet. So that's awesome. I'm very glad to hear that. Did your non-business undergrad give you an advantage in your MBA, or did it give you a beneficial lens from which you viewed your MBA studies?
It definitely gave me an advantage. My undergrad was mathematics and computer science. So the mathematics helps with the quantitative analysis, and there's definitely a lot of statistics in the MBA program. So that was a huge advantage for me to be able to just hit the ground running with a lot of the courses. And my computer science worked with the business analytics. So certainly those were very helpful. I wouldn't say there was a disadvantage. I mean, some of the courses are a steep learning curve. The MBA program is pretty challenging. So luckily I was doing it part-time, so I could be flexible a little bit, taking 1 or 2 courses at a time and able to catch up if I needed to. But certainly having done my undergrad already in general, it gives you the work skills and ethic to, work with those challenges that come up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that the first semester of the MBA is a little bit numbers heavy as well. I always tell students if they're coming in and they don't have that background in mathematics, maybe get a sample textbook and go through it to get familiar with some of the concepts. So that's great that you already had that experience. How does your MBA help you in your career now as a secondary school teacher?
There are a lot of business ideas and concepts I use all the time. Human resources, right? Working with people, it's so important, of course. Without marketing, no one knows about your products. So knowing about that is great. The planning, sourcing, efficient operations that are all part of the program, I mean, they're vital to any business. So I use those concepts all the time. And I actually specifically got a consultancy job recently with a company out of Hamilton, and it's been really successful. And originally, they actually brought me in for my programming skills, but they've been thrilled with the things I've been able to do for their company in general, and they're looking at bringing me into their top level executive in order to help them. So clearly, it's connecting with my career right now in that sense. Right now, I'm a high school teacher, and so it also connects with that. So just telling students about my Master of Business Admin and what I know about business gives me a whole other story to tell for lots of students that want to get into business, because business is really huge, of course. So that's always great to connect with students and give them some real ideas of what it might be like to go into university, get a master's, and what that can do for them. And of course, it also connects with even running a school, having a talk with my principal or with other colleagues about things, and just having those concepts. It really works everywhere.
Yeah, I bet you that's really exciting for students to be able to hear about that, and be able to kind of envision the way that that path might look for them. So thank you for talking about that with them, because we would obviously love them to come to Brock as well. I'm thinking back on my high school journey, and I don't remember ever hearing stories like that from my teachers. So I think that that would have resonated with me pretty deeply if I did hear that from them, because it sounds like you've achieved quite a lot. You've got a lot of different things going on with your, consultancy and your full-time job and everything. So that's wonderful that your skills and experiences are being recognized not only by the students, but by the consulting firm that you are working with. That's so exciting. Awesome. So what is something about the program that really worked for you?
The program at Goodman School of Business was amazing, specifically because of their, I mean, the students are amazing, for one, but the thing that's special about it is that they have these service learning projects. And that is so cool because, so many times, thinking back to my computer science, which was great and useful, but you're making all these programs and nobody gets to use them, right? It's great for your own portfolio maybe, but it doesn't change the world. It doesn't do anything for local people and actually help people. And if that's in your heart, helping people, then obviously that's what you want to do. And so making the education experience something that actually helps people around you, like one of them was with CMHC, the Center for Mental Health, and they were so thrilled to have us there, and they were getting really great advice from this cohort of students who were excellent and smart and fun and engaging and friendly and like all that stuff. And so we were there helping them with their strategic plan. Can you believe it? Like, to be connected with somebody to help them and put your skills to use that you're learning in class was just top notch. I loved it. That was fantastic.
Super. So you got to work on a project that it actually got implemented, like it was homework that actually had a purpose, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's so rewarding.
Yeah.
In my degree, which I'm trying to remember the class name, and of course, now that I'm in an interview, it's slipping my mind, but we worked with the government of the Northwest Territories to produce a brochure that was going out to the residents to help educate them about different environmental issues. So that's exciting to hear that the service learning is, and the experiential education is everywhere in what we do here at Brock and in the Goodman School of Business. So that's pretty exciting, working on a strategic, would you call it strategic plan?
Yeah.
Their mission and vision. Yeah, I'd be really interested to see that and to talk to them, to know how that actually impacted what they were able to do, because I bet you that really did push them further and enable them to do quite a bit more.
Yeah, and even as a student, sometimes like the kind of coolest people that you might talk to might be your professors, right? And there are so many good connections there. But this case, we were able to talk to the director of the Niagara, CMHC, and I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, they have time for me. I'm just a Brock student, So it was really nice, and they were so thrilled to have us. And that's just one example that I can share because all that is publicly available. But there were several other service learning projects that similarly were pretty amazing.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. What made Goodman School of Business different for you?
Honestly, I chose Goodman School of Business before I knew about the service learning projects, but it was mostly because they were local. I did my Brock undergrad, or my undergrad at Brock as well. So that was great. I read through, the brochures, and the credentials were amazing. And now I can also say that I've experienced
Sorry, I think we lost you there.
actually get to know professors and people.
Sorry,
And
you broke up there. We're gonna have to do that one again, I think.
okay.
You were frozen for a little while. I'm so sorry.
So,
Okay, so I'll give it a few seconds to go in so they can edit it.
Sure.
So what made the Goodman School of Business different for you?
Well, other than the service learning projects, which I already talked about, and I didn't know before I chose Goodman School of Business, what I chose it for, honestly, was probably because they were local. They were also what I experienced before. In my undergrad, I really appreciated Brock because of the smaller class sizes, getting to know professors, and all of that. I also chose them because I looked at the brochure and saw the amazing credentials of the faculty of business at Brock. So I thought, wow, these people are fantastic. And now that I've gone through the program, I can say that they really are professional. They really care about students, and you really do have the opportunity to talk to professors and like stay after class for a few minutes, see what's going on, ask questions and all of that. So, having those connections is so valuable. It's really a personal experience to be able to go to Brock. And so, yeah, I think that really is it, is, you're not treated like a student number, you're treated like a person. And that's what was really great about Brock.
Absolutely. Can I ask you about your part-time studies? Was that a seamless process for you to be able to study part-time?
Yeah, it was great. I was working full time, so that can be a challenge because
Yeah.
I have a family, I'm married, I have two kids, so and they were there the whole time, so uh, that's uh, that's always a challenge. Sometime balancing that, but I think it went great. There was a time where I needed to prioritize my family, and so I got a 1 year sort of leave of absence, I guess, or I put it on hold for a year, and everything was no problem and no weird paperwork, and like it wasn't crazy, or obviously it delayed things by a year, but
Yeah.
that was fine. They were totally cool with it, and they gave me enough time to finish everything. So yeah, the part-time thing was no problem. It was awesome.
That's wonderful. Do you have any advice for prospective students that might be thinking about getting an MBA with Goodman?
Well, part of the thinking process is deciding whether to go ahead with it or not. So certainly, the benefits that I've talked about of the concepts that you learn through it are so useful for everyday life because business is everywhere and efficiency works everywhere. People are everywhere. So there's just so many benefits to it that I would definitely lean toward it. The respect that you get for having accomplished a master's level and specifically the MBA, it's pretty awesome. There are totally so many supports there for you. The professors, like I said, with the small class sizes, they're always willing to help and point you in the right direction. The students that you're with, you can really make a lot of great connections. And the one of the things I was really amazed by was the caliber of the students. They're so smart, friendly, helpful. Like, they're people like you that are ready to take the plunge into a master's level program. And so, you meet all kinds of people who are, managers, or there's one guy who was like a chief at the fire department. There are just so many different people, and it's a lot of fun, and a lot of good friendships and networking happen. So that's there too. Um, so yeah, I would say as far as advice goes, meet people, make those connections, um, check out the textbook,
Yeah.
all that good stuff. Um, but yeah, I think be there. You definitely go to the classes. They're so valuable. I know some people they skip out from time to time, but even they're pretty open. A lot of the classes are a lot more than your lecture style classes too. Like they, I was in this one human resources class, and we had a class of about 15 students, and it was more like a seminar every time, and the respect that we had, like everybody put their phones away except for these like little 5 minute breaks so everybody could kind of check in. Just the friendliness and openness of that atmosphere is incredible. So don't be afraid, just go for it.
Yeah, that's excellent advice. And I'm so glad to hear you talk about networking because I think that that's something that students get nervous about is not only like networking and speaking with their fellow students, but, with the professors and with the different events that happen on campus and things like that. Well, it is so awesome to hear about your experiences and all of your success. We wish you nothing but the best. And I would love it if you would keep me posted on everything that is going to continue happening for you. Thank you so much for speaking with me today and for helping to encourage the students who may be thinking about coming to Goodman. So thank you again. I appreciate it. All the best and stay safe.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure. Thank you.